Boxing is the sweet science. Yes, boxing is the sweet science. And I want to know if boxing is a sweet science, is awkward good or bad? When you first start boxing, you are taught to jab, 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 jab. 1, 2, 1, 2, hook, right hand. Well, some guys, like this one guy I know and I'm bringing up, like Prince Nassem, he's all over the place. He might start his punches off with an uppercut, backhand, he might even flip. Boxing is a sweet science, but Prince Nassem, he takes it to a whole nother level. Prince Nassem is a great fighter, and I like Prince Nassem, but he's very awkward. Is he awkward in a good way, or is he awkward in a bad way? I say he's awkward in a good way because he's a former world champion. Let me repeat that. He's a former world champion. So awkward is good for Prince Nassem. But eventually, it caught up to him. When he fought Barrera stopped him because he had the basics. So awkward was good for so long. At the end of the day, you gotta go back to the basics. And if you don't have basics, it's gonna get you caught up. And you mess around and get your head knocked off. That's right, you end up getting your head knocked off. Roy Jones Jr. was awkward. But to me, to this day, he's the greatest fighter of all time. Roy Jones is very awkward. He'll run over here and come back with a hook. He'll run over there and come back with a different hook. Roy Jones is sweet. He's a showman. He has skills to pay the bills. He kind of reminds me of the and 1 in boxing. You know, and 1, they played basketball. They had all kind of tricks, and Roy Jones had a whole lot of tricks. I remember one time he fought a guy, and he did the rooster, and then caught the guy. I said, man, he's a showman. Roy Jones is awkward. Yes, awkward in a good way. Boxing is a sweet science. Prince Nassem is awkward, but awkward in a good way. Roy Jones is awkward in a good way. The drunken master, Emanuel Augustus. Emanuel Augustus, man, he be moving like this, and then all of a sudden come out of nowhere with a punch. He'd move like that, all of a sudden come out of nowhere with a punch. Emanuel Augustus had skills to pay the bills, but he was awkward. Now, was he awkward in a good way or a bad way? Because he never became world champion. But he fought the great Floyd Money Mayweather. And when he fought him, Floyd said that he was the best fighter that he ever fought. Let me rewind that. He said that Emanuel Augustus was the best fighter that he ever fought.
Emanuel Augustus was my toughest opponent thus far. And, his record didn't show his skill set, but the guy was unbelievable.
And he was awkward. So if it works for you, it's a good thing instead of a bad thing. He never became world champion, but he was good. He was awkward, but he was awkward in a good way. Cornelius K9 Bundridge. I only had 10 amateur fights. 10 amateur fights, but I won 2 world titles. Awkward for me was good. It was good because I didn't learn how to throw the jab and then the right hand. I would start off with a left hook out of nowhere. A left hook out of nowhere. Uppercut out of nowhere. And it worked for me. I had dog in me. See what I'm saying? That's why they called me K9. I had my first fight on ESPN. I remember I thought I was sweet as I don't know what. You couldn't tell me nothing. I was looking up at the camera. I was like, I'm on TV. And I thought I could really fight. I imitated Roy Jones. That's right, I fought like Roy Jones. At least I thought I fought like Roy Jones. And it worked. I beat a guy who was, I believe at the time was 7-1. That's right, I beat him in his hometown because I was awkward. If I would have fought him the traditional way, the jab, jab, right hand, he would have beat me. Awkward was good for me that day. I won the fight because I fought awkward. It was good for me, and I won 2 world titles. So I believe that awkward, it depends on a person, it's good if you're a winner. If you become a world champion, it's good. And if you don't become a world champion and you have someone like Floyd Mayweather say he's the best fighter ever fought, then it's still good. So awkward is good, it depends on the person it is, you know? Now for this young man right here, awkward was bad because you see what happened to him? He came in the ring, showboating, playing around, and got his head knocked off. So awkward was bad for him. So it depends on the person. Awkward could be good, awkward could be bad. Vasyl Lomachenko is considered the best fighter in the world. Well, Terrence Crawford could be considered the best fighter in the world. But Vasyl Lomachenko is a great fighter. He does the same kind of moves like Roy Jones, Like Prince Nassem, like Cornelius K9 Bundrich, like Emanuel Augustus, he's a winner. It was only a few fights he became a world champion. Let me rewind that. A world champion in just a few fights. That's right, Lomachenko was awkward in a good way. And today, he's considered the best pound for pound fighter in the world. Yes, so awkward is good if you can make it work for you. So if it ain't broke, don't fix it. At K9 Boxing. Please like and share this video, because the fighter that has his own style, and as long as it works for him, allow him to do it. Just teach him the basics, because you're gonna need the basics. You're gonna have to go back to the basics. Eventually, guess what? I learned the basics, and it made me a better fighter. So awkward isn't that bad if you know the basics. And if you don't know the basics, awkwardness is gonna take you so far. Roy Jones, he know the basics. Lomachenko know the basics. Emanuel Augustus know the basics. Basics take you super far. Being awkward can take you so far. At K9 Boxing.